All right, afternoon, folks. Just kind of going to run you down what we're going to do. Going to get you updated on the police-related shooting from this morning. Yeah, there'll be a few speakers here this morning. I'll talk for just a minute or two, and the Peoria County Coroner, Jamie Harwood, will speak as well, and we also have Pastor Duran would like to have a few words as well too. So I'm going to read you a prepared statement that for the majority of we issued earlier this morning. At approximately 2:27 a.m., Peoria police officers initiated a traffic stop in the area of Western and Lincoln for traffic violations. After making initial contact with the driver, officers reapproached the car, at which time the driver put the car in gear and fled the scene. The driver lost control of the vehicle at Garden and Warren and fled on foot. Officers located the suspect in the 2700 block of Southwest Jefferson, where there was an exchange of gunfire. One officer was struck by gunfire and transported to a local hospital. The suspect was also struck by gunfire and transported to a local hospital, where he was later pronounced deceased. 3 officers were involved in this incident and have been placed on critical incident leave. The names of the 3 officers will be released at a later time as the investigation progresses. Any and all evidence, including dash cam footage from the vehicles, will be turned over to the Illinois State Police. And pursuant to the Illinois State statute, the Illinois State Police will handle the investigation. So before we get into the questions, I'll have Mr. Harwood come up.
Good afternoon. I first want to express condolences to the family of the deceased and well wishes to the officer who was also hit. The name of the deceased individual was Daniel O.L., and I'll spell that for you. The first name's D-A-N-I-E-L, middle initial O, last name E.L. Age 33, last known address 1008 East Paris Avenue, Peoria Heights. I was called around 3:45 this morning to the emergency department at St. Francis Medical Center for a male who'd been shot. On my arrival, there was 1 deceased male in the trauma room. Their time of death pronounced in the emergency department was 3:23 a.m. this morning. Autopsy was scheduled for this afternoon. It started at 11 a.m. and currently still in progress. I'm happy to take questions after we're finished here regarding that. But again, that autopsy is still in progress. Thank you.
Okay, we have time for a few questions, and then we'll have Pastor Duran also speak as well. So if there's...
Was the suspect wanted for anything?
My understanding of this was a routine traffic stop. It was minor infractions related to stop sign violation and an expired registration.
Who initiated the gunfire?
That will be determined during the investigation.
Was there a second person in the car with the suspect?
Yes.
And where is that person?
The second person, be the passenger, was removed from that vehicle during the initial traffic stop. I'm not sure of the charges, but my understanding it might have been a warrant on file for his arrest.
So he's in police. Y'all talking to him? What's his status? Right?
Yeah, he was in custody as of this morning.
Are y'all releasing his name?
I don't have his name here to release, so I'm sure it will be released.
Where did all this? You said that this started with a routine traffic stop. Have you heard what the stop was for? Was it for rolling through a stop sign, driving too fast?
Yeah, I just mentioned it was for routine traffic violations,
Right,
which would have been stop sign violation and expired registration.
Did you say, and can you say if any of the 3 officers involved in this morning's incident were involved in
officers being involved in the recent shooting?
What is the current status of the officer who was struck?
The officer, the last information I had was the officer was in stable condition.
Do you know where he was hit?
He was struck in mid-torso, and I'm aware of one gunshot wound.
What about the suspect, Chief? Where was he hit with,
I'm not aware of that information. I don't know where he was hit or how many times he was hit.
now, is that something the coroner can talk about?
Denise, what I know is that he was struck multiple times. How many multiple means is a question mark to me at this moment. Our forensic pathologist is doing the autopsy right now. When we get that information, and after we collaborate with state police who's doing the investigation, we'll be able to release that information. But that's going to be at their discretion with our investigation as well.
Jerry,
Yes, ma'am.
you mentioned that there are 3 officers who are on critical incident leave. Were all 3 officers involved in the exchange of gunfire, or was it just 2 officers involved in the exchange of gunfire?
There were 3 officers involved in an exchange, including the officer that was struck.
And you said one of those officers was involved in the incident that just referenced the Illinois State Police?
Yes, sir.
Can you give us the race of the individual who stopped and of the officers?
Quite honestly, I don't know the race of the person that was deceased.
Yeah, I mean, I could speculate, but I don't know for a fact what it was.
Did the officers, any of them, you talked about dash cam video, did anybody have on body cameras, and were they working?
There were no body camera officers working last night, in my understanding.
Do you know if the dash cam video was operating, Chief?
Well, we're reviewing all dash cam videos for any vehicle that may have captured any part of that traffic stop and the subsequent shooting. So that takes time. So all that information is going to be handed over to the state police.
How many vehicles were involved in this, and
I don't know. I know there would have been several based upon the information that I was provided. So, any other
Can you talk
questions?
the total elapsed time between the beginning of the traffic stop and when the shooting occurred?
I don't have a timeline. I mean, I could guess it was probably just within a couple of minutes, but that would be just a guess.
If there was a dash cam video, would that be initiated at the time that the emergency lights on the police vehicle came on?
That is correct.
It's automatic, right?
Yes, sir.
how long does it usually run, Chief?
Excuse me?
Dash cam video, from the time the lights, the sirens come on, and, I mean, does it run continuously, or does it stop when the vehicle's turned off? How does that work?
It's continuous as long as the vehicle is being operated in an emergency manner. So, or if it can be purposely left on. So, we're hopeful that we have a video or that we could turn over to the state police for follow-up. So, okay, with that, I'll have Pastor Dern, if you wouldn't mind coming up.
Good afternoon, everyone. I stand here, standing with partnership with my brothers, the greater Peoria area pastors, and for our community, saying that we're definitely suffering another tragedy within our community, and also we see the injury upon our police, but we also want peace in our communities as we have all these questions waiting for the investigation to come out. We pray that we can all act in a way that honoring that situation and work together to get healing in our community, and so we can see a cease of such situations happening in our community. Thank you.
Could you give us your full name and spelling, please?
Yes, Samuel, Samuel, Duren, Duren.
And what church are you affiliated with?
I am with Zion Baptist Church here in Peoria, Illinois.
Thank you.
Chief, how many officers total? You said there were 3 officers involved in the shooting. How many officers were at the scene? And you said there were several vehicles. Could you give us an idea?
I don't have that information. I am aware that 3 officers were involved in the exchange of gunfire, and like I said, that would include the officer that was struck. Any additional officers that would have responded to the area, I couldn't tell you that number today.
You don't know how many cars responded then?
No, I don't.
Just to be clear, Chief, you're saying this was a stop sign violation, not a stop light violation, is that correct?
My understanding, stop sign, yes, sir.
Right, and you're also saying that this was something wrong with the license plate on the car?
I believe it was expired registration, so the tag that's on the registration, the license plate itself would be expired. So,
And Chief, I just wanted to be clear, you said the passenger that was in the vehicle, what, stayed at the scene? Who?
there were two occupants in the car upon the initial traffic stop. The passenger was removed upon the officer's approach to the car. Once he was identified, he was removed from the car. It was the reapproach that led to the car fleeing. So,
The passenger got out of the
passenger
car,
was out,
and then
the driver.
took off.
Exactly, so, okay. Well, thanks, folks, for coming down. Any future updates that we can provide you, we will obviously disseminate that to you as best we can. So, again, just a reminder that the Illinois State Police is conducting the investigation. So, appreciate your time.